So it's been 6 days since we had rain, and I wanted to give you an update on the zai pits. So this specific zai pit here, this one here, captures water coming from this side. We zoom out a bit. So captures water from this side. Then it is supposed to eventually feed this tree, citrus tree here, this little papaya tree here, and that citrus tree there. So we filled it with worm castings and planted the banks. We haven't really watered it lately, and we received rain about 6 days ago. So all of the grass that we planted are coming up splendidly. These, I believe, is cowpeas. They are coming up splendidly. Oh, the soil is quite soft, so I think it's soft because there's lots of worm castings and things in there. I'm gonna walk through it. Let me walk around it. Try not to get thorns in my stomach. So these are some sort of pumpkin butternut or something like that, coming up from the banks without being watered. Probably put some water on it today. I see our next rain is only coming on Thursday, so that will give us 2 weeks without water on this land. You can see the high clay content in this specific soil. Now that the other zai pits, I'll show you now one that's mostly sand, but we have so many that's mostly clay. So here is some squash coming up next to the spackboom or elephant tree. And then I believe these are just some native seeds. It might be something we planted, but it might also just be some native seeds. So, turning green. That is one of the invasive thorn bushes. There's just a couple of sticks a week ago, and they are growing crazy, like crazy. We are going to leave them. They are a nitrogen fixer. Probably once they are bigger, we'll probably harvest them and use them for the hedge, and or somewhere else. But they are a nitrogen fixing plant, so we'll leave them. And okay, so water has been turned on this morning. We'll probably see Lucas is watering the marula. It's not necessary. We'll probably just water everything that's in the greenhouse today. Trees will wait a couple of days still before we water them. So this is one of our just sand things. These peas came up a bit longer ago. You can see this is a bit more of a mess. You can't see completely what's happening inside. It's got a little bit of a bigger catchment as well. There's a small micro swale coming from that side, capturing the water from the campsite, and then there's a little swale coming from that side. And you can see the grass is much longer, much longer, higher. This one is supposed to feed this tree, that tree over there, and then that tree over there. These are little native berry bushes. They are coming up splendidly, and I think this one is doing quite well. There is some other ground covers coming up. That must also be some sort of pumpkin coming up and doing well. I think the peas will probably take over. Cowpeas will probably take over this spot here, but I'm okay with whatever survives. Right, this one here, little prickly pear coming up behind the swale there. Papaya, not sure, they recently turned yellow, some of them. Then they turn okay again. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe you can tell me. This one is also a very sandy swale. It's got a lot of biochar and worm castings in there, and that seems to be doing the trick. You can see the butternuts putting up fruit. Zoom in a little bit. Fruit on there, coming nice and big. Some more flowers, some more butternuts there. This tree here has been eaten by worms a little bit, but it's recovered. This is a pomelo or a grapefruit that gets water from that swale. Citrus Also had some worms. It's a citrus worm apparently, that we caught eating all of our citrus. This is something interesting. This is a marula that passed away, I thought. Seems like it's coming back. Right. This is a pomegranate. Let me walk you through to the friendly forest quickly. I want to show you what those swells are doing 1 week later. Let's have a walk through the dam quickly towards the friendly forest. So you can see there's still a little bit of moisture here, as is expected. You know, this was a lot of water, but there's all over the place there's new life coming up. See those guys there as well. But what I wanted to show you is how the zipers react when they've been empty now for almost a week, for 6 days. So yeah, see, it doesn't pick up on the camera as well. But this is still the very top, and it's still moist. You don't have to dig down to find water. Some native thorn tree coming back. I see some grasses on the swell banks. Those ones looks like we planted them. They look like they're in a row. So that is probably what do you call those things? Your name escapes me, but a grass. Grasses to arm the banks. This is the back one. See, the grass is coming up nicely. See there, it's actually quite big. Let me get to the inside. For a week's growth, this is actually very impressive for a week's growth. So I think they will do very well. Even in the mulberry pits. So they, for anybody who hasn't watched my channel yet, let me just give you an overview of the system quickly, so you can have an idea. So here, the water enters from this swell. This comes from the road. That fills up. Water enters from the swell and then hits those zipers, or African smiles as I like to call them, on the way down. Fills them up, and so if this one fills, that mulberry, and that mulberry there gets water. If that one fills up, this one and this one gets water. So every pit has got a couple of trees around it. Last year I planted in them. That was a very bad idea. They all drowned. This year I learned, so I plant just behind them. Right. I also actually saw something very interesting just now, a second ago, but I didn't want to interrupt my viewing. Let me show you this. So these are a couple of pits that we started planting in cowpeas, and cowpeas are those things that I'm saying is taking over on that side. Yeah, you can see some remnants of the manure that we spread it, yeah, and then the cowpeas coming up with a passion. I'm actually very surprised that they didn't wash. Oh, that's a grass. Very surprised that these ones, for instance, didn't wash away. There was quite a lot of water running here. I thought they would all be gone, but they did okay. You can see doing quite well. Right, so this is what it looks like 6 days after. Loads of grass coming up. Loads of grass coming up. Now I can also see where grass wasn't planted, and so where we can fix that. Sometimes when you plant you miss a spot, but it looks like Simon cut most of it. All of these little walls will turn into green lashery very, very soon. See there, and there, and there. Zoom in a little bit. There. All of these little banks. So, just from the comment section, Steve asked whether we still bring in food for the pigs. like food from the shops and so on. Yes, we do. We have a system going currently where my brother-in-law moves the food in for a while and then I do for a while. So for the last 2 weeks we moved in the food from town to our land, and then from Monday it is his turn again. Yeah, I didn't film it because, you know, we had rain and so on. But yes, we're not going to let that go soon. We like the idea of free food. All we have to do is collect it. So our pigs still eat a lot of food waste, you can say. I would say at least 90% of their diets still consist of food waste. And then some weeds we use as a food fodder that we get from the vegetable garden. And then we had one of our YouTube viewers buy us a bag of pig food as well, which we are very grateful for. Then somebody else asked, how do we keep our house warm and cold during the winter? Warm during the winter, cold during the summer. So summer wise, we are blessed by a little bit of foresight. This house lies in its own shadow, which means the sun comes up directly on the small side during the summer. So the sun has moved a little bit now. Hits the eastern wall directly. This is the eastern wall on this side. Hits the eastern wall directly and then goes straight up and straight over it, and then comes and hits the western wall. So most of the day the whole house is lying in its own shadow. When it's eating the eastern wall, everything else is in shade. When it's hitting the western wall, everything else is in shade. When it's straight from the top, the small overhang puts it in shade. The western wall has only got a small window. This used to be now the garage. It's only got a small window, so lets in little sunlight. I would maybe put some bigger trees over here just to break the western sun. Western sun, if you don't know yet, is your warmest sun that heats up your house the most. So if you plant anything on the west, then that is a problem. Right. Now to warm it up during the winter, in theory, the sun should go down a little bit more towards the north, comes over the north like this, and then hits this northern over here more. Now, in a perfect design, you would have had bigger windows here, so you would catch more winter sun. This house is a bit cold in the winter. We'll probably end up making a little fire or fireplace or something like that. Or if we were very innovative, what you can do is on your northern side, you can build on this side, for instance, like the earth shops, which is something I suggest everybody study because it's something that you can incorporate into most houses. You can build a greenhouse. If you build a greenhouse here, you open that window, your warm air would enter the house the whole day into there. So you build a little coop like that, half moon coop, greenhouse. Now we're not gonna do that, I think, soon, but it is an idea to plan or to use when you think about heating your house passively with the sun. Little greenhouse, and then on top there where the two roofs connect, you can put some hatches. If you have enough hot wind, you just open it. Right, that is the end of my story. This is our first day of permanent living on the farm. My eyes are killing me, I think pollen or something. But first day of permanently living on the farm, and I'm so excited. I will see you tomorrow.